You've been lied to? For years we were told fast food would always be there, cheap, fast, reliable, but now something's broken. Prices are up, lines are longer, and that Big Mac isn't hitting like it used to. What's worse? No one's talking about the real reason behind it all. This isn't just about burgers and fries. It's about a system unraveling from the inside out. Fast food was supposed to be recession-proof, a safety net when money got tight. But while wages stay frozen and debt keeps climbing, the same places we used to run to are now running us dry. What changed? Why are billion-dollar chains struggling in an economy that should favor them? The answers might surprise you, and they go way deeper than just inflation. In this video, you're about to uncover the truth behind the collapse of fast food as we know it. From tech disruptions and delivery apps to cultural backlash and a complete identity crisis. This is the side of the McRecession nobody's brave enough to say out loud, but once you see it, you'll never look at a value meal the same way again. There was a time, not so long ago, when fast food was the golden safety net during hard times. McDonald's was more than a brand, it was a fallback plan. When wallets were tight and the economy was spiraling, people could still count on a dollar menu to make it through the week. It wasn't glamorous, but it was dependable. Cheap, fast, and filling. 3 words that defined survival in every economic downturn. Think about 2008. The global financial crisis was wrecking households, and yet McDonald's profits were soaring. Why? Because it served an immediate need, feeding a family for under $10. It was the go-to solution when cooking felt like a luxury and budgeting became a daily math equation. Fast food chains were the unexpected winners of economic chaos, until now. Flash forward to today, and the game has flipped. The same brands that once thrived in recession are struggling, despite millions searching for cheaper meals. It's not that people don't want fast food anymore, it's that fast food forgot who it was meant to serve. What used to be a haven for broke students and working parents is now pricing itself out of its own market. And while the McRecession is unfolding, the irony is brutal. In theory, this should be their moment. Inflation is skyrocketing, household debt is climbing, and everyone's looking to save a buck. And yet, fast food joints are seeing fewer customers, lower satisfaction, and declining loyalty. It's almost as if they're trying to lose the game they once mastered. The old formula, low cost, high volume, is fading fast, replaced by confusion, price hikes, and brand dilution. If a Big Mac no longer offers big value, people will find other ways to eat. And that's exactly what they're doing. But before we talk about how fast food chains are shooting themselves in the foot, let's look at what's really driving people away, even when times are tough. Fast food used to mean affordable comfort. Now it feels like a bad deal wrapped in soggy paper. A McChicken that once cost $1.29 now stretches past $4 in many places. It's not just inflation, it's a pricing strategy that forgot its customer base. People aren't just paying more, they're getting less. And that imbalance is breaking the trust fast food spent decades building. McDonald's, once famous for value menus, now requires app scavenger hunts to find a decent deal. That's not convenience, it's digital gymnastics. The average person doesn't want to decode a menu like it's a Wall Street report just to eat lunch. It's no wonder people are ditching drive-thrus and heading to the grocery store instead. They're doing the math, and fast food just doesn't add up anymore. Let's face it, nobody wants to feel ripped off. And yet, that's exactly how many customers feel walking out with a $17 value meal. Higher prices wouldn't sting so bad if the experience matched the price. But when the fries are cold, the service is slow, and the drink machine is out of order, again, it's just insult to injury. People want return on investment, even at the burger joint. Here's the kicker. Those price hikes aren't going to better ingredients or staff wages. Most of that margin goes to shareholders and middle management. So while frontline workers juggle 5 orders and a broken fryer, executives are reporting record profits. The disconnect between price and value has never been more obvious. And in a world obsessed with making smarter money moves, customers are catching on. They're realizing fast food isn't so fast, isn't so cheap, and sure as hell isn't dependable anymore. And when people feel cheated, they don't just complain, they disappear. But there's another shift happening that's even more visible, literally. It's written on every building you pass, and it's changing how we see fast food forever. Remember when fast food had personality? Bright colors, bold logos, and that familiar smell of fries floating into the parking lot? Those were the days when a visit to Burger King felt like a mini field trip. Today, those same places look like soulless cubes, gray boxes with digital kiosks and sterile lighting. The magic's gone, and customers can feel it. It's not an accident. Chains are cutting costs by stripping down their designs, standardizing their interiors, and optimizing for delivery, not atmosphere. They've turned once vibrant locations into what looks more like airport lounges. And why? Because real estate isn't about the experience anymore. It's about speed, rent margins, and app efficiency. The human touch got left behind in the spreadsheet. This matters more than people think. Ambience is part of the product. When you walk into a place that looks and feels dead, it affects your perception of the food, the service, and the brand. That's basic psychology. And when it comes to make money lessons, one rule holds: perception is value. Blandness might save cash short term, but it kills long-term loyalty. Want proof? Look at companies like In-N-Out. They've kept their old school charm, kept lines out the door, and stayed profitable. Their stores feel alive, personal, even nostalgic. That connection drives customer retention. Meanwhile, McDonald's looks more like a bank than a burger spot, and nobody brags about eating at a bank. But the look of these buildings is just a symptom. The real story is who they're designing for. Because the once loyal customer, the kid begging for a happy meal, is no longer the focus. So who's keeping these places afloat now? Let's take a look. Once upon a time, fast food spoke to kids. Bright colors, toys, mascots. Ronald McDonald wasn't just a clown, he was an icon. Happy meals weren't meals, they were events. Parents came for the price, but kids made the decisions. That era is gone. Regulations, changing values, and smarter parents have pulled the plug on kid-focused marketing. Now, the core customer is someone totally different. Adults between 18 and 34. This crowd doesn't want a plastic toy. They want speed, convenience, and digital options. And they don't care about playlands or birthday balloons. They care about delivery times, mobile deals, and how clean the restroom is. The whole business had to pivot, but not everyone kept up. This shift has consequences. When kids stop being the engine of demand, so does a whole layer of emotional connection. Nostalgia used to be the hook, but today's adults have options and more skepticism. If the food's bad or the service is slow, they won't complain. They'll just tweet about it and never come back. That's the power of digital word of mouth. To keep this new audience, brands need to move fast, stay lean, and get personal. Chick-fil-A, for example, leaned into service, consistency, and clean dining areas, and they're crushing it. Meanwhile, others are stuck in a weird identity crisis. Too old school for Gen Z, too impersonal for millennials. That's a dangerous middle ground to live in. And as these adults grow more tech-savvy and debt-heavy, their demands are changing too. They want customization, transparency, and deals they don't have to hunt for. Which brings us to a player that's totally reshaped the game, sometimes for the better, but often for the worse. At first glance, delivery apps seemed like a gift. Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub promised lazy day heaven, food brought to your door with just a few taps. But behind the scenes, they've disrupted the entire fast food ecosystem. Restaurants now pay steep fees, lose control of the customer experience, and can't offer better prices in-store without risking backlash. The middleman took the margin. For the customer, it's a mixed bag. Sure, it's convenient, but it's also expensive, glitchy, and filled with fine print. Ever notice how your $8 meal turns into $22 with fees, tips, and taxes? That's not lunch. That's a budget buster. And yet, millions still use it, because convenience trumps logic, at least until the credit card statement hits. To adapt, fast food chains launch their own apps with in-store exclusive deals. But now customers need to download 3 different apps, hunt through promos, and activate coupons like it's a side hustle. This isn't fast, it's friction. And when friction meets high prices, consumers start to pull back, especially in a world where consumer debt is climbing fast. Let's not forget the logistics nightmare on the back end. Orders come in wrong, food arrives cold, and drivers are stuck waiting for an understaffed kitchen to catch up. Nobody wins. Delivery might have saved sales during the pandemic, but post-COVID, it's become a double-edged sword, one that's cutting into customer satisfaction and brand loyalty alike. And as debt climbs and wages stagnate, many are wondering if delivery is even worth it anymore. That growing hesitation is turning into behavior change. And for fast food chains already walking a tightrope, the next blow could be the one that sends it all tumbling. Let's talk about reality. Young people are broke. Student loans, rent spikes, and job insecurity are choking their budgets. For someone juggling 3 side gigs just to make rent, a $15 burger combo isn't lunch. It's a luxury. This isn't about choice, it's about survival. And fast food is losing relevance where it used to be most needed. Cooking at home has become cool again, not because people suddenly love chopping onions, but because it's cheaper. A pack of rice, some frozen veggies, and a few eggs? That's a week's worth of meals for the price of one drive-through order. The rise of YouTube cooking hacks and TikTok meal prep guides is fueling the shift. It's DIY eating, driven by desperation. Debt is eating into every decision. Credit card balances are skyrocketing. People are refinancing groceries. The last thing on their mind is a splurge at Taco Bell. This is where financial freedom meets harsh economic truth. You can't make money if you're bleeding it at every corner. Every saved dollar counts, and fast food just isn't a smart expense anymore. Let's not ignore the emotional toll. People aren't just tired of spending, they're tired, period. Stress kills appetite. Anxiety kills impulse buying. And when people are mentally drained, they default to what's easy and cheap. And increasingly, that means home cooking or skipping meals entirely. Yes, skipping meals. That's where we are now. And as belt tightening becomes the norm, people are rethinking the whole concept of fast. Is it really worth waiting 20 minutes and paying double for fries you didn't want? The answer's becoming clearer every day. The irony is brutal. The one thing fast food promised, speed, is now its weakest point. Orders take longer, lines move slower, and service is unpredictable. Blame bloated menus, staffing shortages, or outdated systems? It doesn't matter. What matters is that people are losing patience. And when time is money, that's a deal breaker. Once upon a time, you could leave the office, grab lunch, and be back at your desk in 15 minutes. Now, you're lucky if your order's right, let alone fast. And forget the drive-thru. It's often more like a parking lot with a speaker. People want quick meals, not time-sucking errands that leave them hangry and behind schedule. Menu expansion hasn't helped. More options mean more prep time, more confusion, and more room for error. What's supposed to be convenient ends up being chaotic. And in the world of online business and hustle culture, nobody's got time for that. People want efficient solutions, not bloated experiences that feel like chores. And let's talk staff. High turnover, poor training, and overworked crews mean even basic orders take forever. It's not the workers' fault. They're doing their best in a broken system. But customers aren't interested in excuses. They're looking at the clock, the bill, and the lukewarm nuggets, and deciding it's just not worth it anymore. So what's the solution? Many chains think it's automation, but as we'll see, that comes with its own set of problems, and it's far from the magic fix they're hoping for. Fast food chains are stuck in a tough spot. They can't find workers, and they can't afford to pay more without hiking prices again. So, what's the go-to solution? Automation, self-serve kiosks, robotic fryers, AI order takers. It all sounds futuristic, right? But here's the catch. Most of it isn't ready. And when it fails, the customer is the one left holding the cold bag. The idea sounds great on paper. Cut labor costs, reduce human error, and speed things up. But in practice, it's clunky. Ever try to order a no-onion burger on a glitchy touchscreen with a line behind you? Frustration builds fast. And when there's no human to fix it, you're stuck talking to a machine that doesn't understand extra sauce. Even when automation works, it doesn't feel good. Fast food is transactional, yes, but it's still human. People want to be seen, heard, maybe even smiled at. A robotic voice doesn't say, "Have a nice day," like a real person does. And for minimum wage workers, being replaced by a screen isn't just demoralizing, it's terrifying. The deeper issue is systemic. If wages rise, so do prices. If prices rise, demand drops. And if demand drops, jobs vanish. It's a vicious loop, and automation is the band-aid, not the cure. The restaurant industry can't scale like an online business can. It needs people, real ones, with names, lives, and bills to pay. And yet, as chains try to robot their way out of the problem, they're missing another challenge entirely, one that's growing louder across the globe, where the golden arches aren't shining quite so bright anymore. Outside the US, fast food isn't just food, it's a cultural export. And lately, that export is facing serious resistance. From Europe to Asia, American chains are losing ground. Not because the food changed, but because the world did. People want authenticity, local flavor, and brands that reflect their values. Fast food feels outdated. Anti-American sentiment has played a role, no doubt. In places like France or India, eating at McDonald's is no longer cool. It's seen as lazy, corporate, or even disrespectful to local cuisine. And when regional options are just as cheap, tastier, and better aligned with cultural identity, the choice becomes obvious. Local wins. But it's not just about nationalism, it's also about pride and economics. Supporting local businesses means keeping money in the community, protecting traditional recipes, and preserving jobs. That resonates, especially in economies feeling the pinch. People want their spending to mean something, and giving it to a faceless brand thousands of miles away doesn't sit right anymore. The rise of social media has amplified the backlash. One viral video showing moldy burgers or mistreated workers in a global chain can tank public trust. Meanwhile, local street vendors, small eateries, and family-run spots are getting love and loyalty like never before. It's emotional economics, and fast food isn't connecting like it used to. This cultural rejection is growing, and the ripple effect is massive, because in many parts of the world, fast food also means fast employment. And when those chains disappear or shrink, they leave a hole that hits hardest where hope was already thin. Fast food has always been more than just food. It's been a lifeline. For millions of workers, especially in low-income neighborhoods, it's the first job, the side hustle, or the only option. When those jobs vanish, so do paychecks. And when those paychecks disappear, entire communities start to unravel. It's a domino effect, and it's happening now. Job cuts in the fast food industry aren't just numbers on a report, they're stories. A single mom at Wendy's, a student at Burger King, an immigrant worker at Popeyes, all facing a shrinking job market while costs keep rising. As these roles vanish, so does access to basic financial stability. That's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. This isn't just about lost jobs, it's about lost structure. Fast food outlets often serve as informal community hubs, places to gather, to rest, to feel safe. Strip that away, and neighborhoods lose a piece of their daily rhythm. And when communities weaken, poverty deepens. That's the real economic downturn no one wants to talk about. There's also a health angle. Fast food is often the most accessible option in food deserts. When chains close down, it doesn't mean healthier options move in, it means more hunger. And hungry people don't think long-term. They think about survival. That's not how you build financial freedom, that's how you build desperation. And in that desperation, the system starts feeding on itself. Less income means less spending, which means more closures, which means fewer jobs, and on it goes. It's a slow spiral. And unless we understand what's truly driving this collapse, we're all just standing in line for a meal that may never come. So now that you've seen the truth laid bare, what are you going to do with it? Will you keep spending blindly on overpriced meals that give you less and cost you more? Or will you start thinking differently about where your money goes, how your habits shape the economy, and what real value looks like? Because here's the thing, collapse isn't just something you watch. It's something you either escape or get swallowed by. Maybe it's time to rethink what convenience really means. Maybe you start cooking more at home, supporting local businesses, or even building your own online business to chase real financial freedom instead of drowning in consumer debt for a few minutes of salty satisfaction. The system's not built for you to win, but you don't have to play by its rules anymore. And if this message hit home, if you felt that this video opened your eyes to something no one else is talking about, then don't just leave quietly. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us for more deep dives that actually matter. You're not alone in this, and trust me, the next video will shake you even more.